It is M123 FM. Good morning as we are with you here on a Thursday. Newberry High School and Middle School Principal Cliff Fossitt joins us now as Election Day is quickly approaching. That means time for the voters to head to the polls and make a decision on the two Tahquamenon area schools bond proposals. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Always great. Always love sitting down to catch up and chat. And very big decision for the voters and for our school and our students and our community here coming up on Tuesday. We've talked a lot about it, but now time to make a decision on these bond proposals.
Yeah, it's exciting times from my perspective. I've been thinking a lot about the impact that a yes vote would have on the community. I think about when construction starts. And the financial impact that will have on the community itself. I think about what things will look like during construction and the movement and I think the energy that it would bring to the community. So that's one of the things that I've really been thinking about and getting excited about recently is, just the positive impact that taking down the old existing building and starting. So that's been going through my mind a lot lately, Dan, and it's exciting because I think the energy that would create or that will create is going to have a positive effect on our community. And as people pass through, as everyone knows, summer and fall is a huge tourist time for this area as we get people from other parts of the state and country moving through this area, and they see the what's happening at the school and the construction and the new things that are taking place. I think that will send a positive message about our community and their commitment to moving forward and providing the best environment for learning that we can here. So I'm super excited about that prospect, and I have a really good feeling about what the results are going to be next Tuesday. I really do. I think there's been a lot of positive support for the bond, and I know there's still some apprehension by a lot of people, and I understand that, and I respect that. I'm just hoping that the group that is in favor carries the day next Tuesday.
What do you stress to those who maybe are still on the fence, trying to make a decision? Some of the things that you would say to them.
Well, I think for me it would be to identify the why behind what is the barrier for them. Is it financial? Is it something that is it the their concerns about something like maintenance or things like that. So that would be my first question: is what is holding you back from supporting the proposal? And then my response would be, if it's a financial thing, maybe we talk about ways to save some money throughout the course of the year. Or if it is it's a concern that is within the school. Maybe sit down and talk with them and see how we can address that and how that may be addressed in with the new facilities. So it's really hard to say, hey, you need to vote because of this or that, because everyone has their own reasons why they choose to vote a particular way. So really identifying that why and trying to dig deeper and maybe give them a reason to how that may be changed with the passing of this bond. So
the old cliche is the third time is the charm, and I know you guys are hoping that it is here. But you mentioned the excitement that you feel and how you feel strongly that the voters are going to carry this thing. But what else feels different maybe this time around?
Well, I think there's been more of a plan. I think there's been more support from the community. I mean, we've had there's been a lot more outreach to the communities outside of just the village. They've done they've held town hall meetings in the different townships and really look to get their feedback, but also to provide them with information that they may or may not have and answer any questions. So I think that was a big step moving forward, is including these individuals that don't necessarily live in the village or in the Newberry area and may not feel like they have a voice, or may not want to travel to Newberry to be involved in a meeting. So reaching out to them, I think, has been a good faith effort on the part of the school community, and the community unity opportunity group that has really taken the lead in marketing the proposal. So I think that's been a big difference. I think splitting the two ballots can be maybe a positive thing. It gives people more of a choice. It's not
it's not an all or nothing type of.
Correct. Yeah. It's there are options for people, and people like options. So, and I think that people are understanding that there is a need for change, and we've got a giant building right now that I walk through every single day, and there's so many parts of it that aren't being used, and we have limited resources in our district, and we have a giant space that we need to maintain, and it's very challenging with the resources that we have. We also have the area that is the old middle school that is vacant. So we have a huge space there that is not being used, but it still needs to be maintained.
So you're really maintaining almost two empty facilities.
Yeah, the high school is not empty, but we are maintaining a school for 600 plus kids that was built for 1,400, right? So, we have the old middle school that is not occupied for anything other than storage, but we still have to maintain that facility. We still have to put a roof on that. We still have we have 3 bathrooms in the high school that haven't been on the 3rd floor that haven't been used in decades. We have multiple rooms on the 3rd floor of the high school that aren't used. We have rooms on the 2nd floor of the high school that aren't used. So we have a lot of space right now that we don't use, but we still have to maintain. So there's a lot of square footage that we are responsible for with very limited resources.
I think that's an area too that people don't kind of look at. If you peel the layers of the onion back or look deep into this, not only does a yes vote on Tuesday give you the funding and the things that you need to move forward, but on top of that, what you're then turning around and saving, really you're kind of double dipping here if you get a yes vote on Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a cost savings every year, just in reduction of overhead. I don't know what that number is, but obviously if we have if we reduce our footprint, there's less that we have to maintain. We have, when things are 100 years old, it takes a little bit more to maintain them as well. So when you have a newer facility, keeping things clean and keeping things in the proper shape is easier. So I think that's something to consider too. Really we have a school that has served its purpose, and it has done a tremendous job, and it has provided a lot of memories for generations. Yeah. And what's great about memories is no one can ever take your memories away. But it's time for us to create new memories. People in this town that grew up here and live here, it's time to create new memories for our kids and for our grandkids, and providing them with a new space, a safer space, and a more modern space to learn in and to grow in, I think is the most appropriate thing to do for our kids.
One portion of the public that seems to be almost unanimous behind this is recent former students, even current students who can't vote, but have really kind of been speaking out in the community, personally and professionally, to see your current and former students try to get behind this. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think that speaks volumes because they're in the school every single day. A lot of us that are the voting public haven't been in the school in a long time. They've been to the gym to watch a ball game, but you haven't been in the school and you haven't been in the classrooms and you haven't really seen the conditions. A couple things. We did a survey a couple weeks ago and surveyed the school as a school climate survey just to get some input from the students. And one of the questions is, well, how can we improve the overall atmosphere of the school? And the overwhelming majority was, we need a new school. It was we need better food at lunch, and we need a new school. The overwhelming majority. So if the kids are saying that, there must be some merit to that. Yeah. So I think that, I think it's important to keep in mind that, if our kids feel a certain way, that the condition of their school is less than desirable. How do they take pride in their building if they feel like it is something that is not something that they would take pride in? And that's really what we're finding. Yeah. And we've also reached out to a lot of our recent grads to help support this proposal because, they are the ones that have lived it. And like I said, it has provided many of us with the facility that made us who we are, but now it's time to move in a different direction, and that is change. And sometimes change is difficult, but change is necessary. And I think this is a really good opportunity for us to have a really cool impact on our community. I mean, again, if you just envision the hub of Newberry and all the energy that the new facility that will bring, I think that's just an exciting opportunity for the community of Newberry.
And we've talked a lot about how important the school is to the community. Would you say it's a safe bet to say if this goes through and we get this newer facility that maybe that kind of is the first domino to fall and maybe bringing Newberry back up to an attractive place for people to come visit and eventually stay?
Well, I don't know about I don't know if people will come to Newberry to visit the school. But I think when people start looking at, opportunities to, if someone is employed at the hospital or if someone is moving to town or looking to move to town, I think the couple things that really, people focus on is there appropriate health care in the area and what is the education look like. And I think sometimes the eye test is as important as anything. You look at our facilities where they have some work to be done on versus a new facility that is one, safe and secure. And I think that's really important to people. And I don't think the idea that, we're from the UP, that these things don't happen, safety shouldn't be as big a concern, because I've heard that that is as far from the truth as we can possibly get. It's our responsibility to make sure that we have a facility as secure as anywhere else in the country, and right now we don't have that. At the high school we have, I don't know how many entries and any ways kids can get in and out of the building. We don't have a parent comes in or someone gets buzzed into the school at the central office area, and they don't go check in the central office. They can just hang a left and go to the high school without even checking in, and that's a huge security issue for my students, because we have people that come into the building that we don't know. And when you want to talk about a recipe for not disaster potentially, that is it. And how do you sit down with a parent after something happens and say, I'm sorry, our building wasn't secure enough. And that's a tough conversation to have, So for me, one of the major things when someone is looking at deciding where they live and where they're going to send someone to school is the healthcare and the school system. Yeah.
If people want to get any last minute information or have a discussion with you regarding maybe trying to make a decision here in the next couple of days, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Call the high school office, 293-3243. I'm available. And, I would love to sit down and talk to anyone about, the why, whether it's, and I'm not, I'm not saying I can change everyone's mind, but I would love to engage in a conversation and then let people hear my perspective and hear their perspective. And like I said, I respect everyone's opinion. I respect their why they choose to vote one way or another. I get that. We all have our reasons. So I'm just hoping that those of us that feel strongly about this are able to get out next Tuesday and cast our votes in a positive direction and get the process started sooner than later.
All right, Cliff Fossitt, Tahquamenon Area Schools. You can reach him at the high school office, 293-3243. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, Dan.